Here's a back to basics video that I'm going to do because of a lot of emails I've been getting recently on a couple of subjects that I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to try to clear some things up, answer some questions, and give some suggestions. Some of the things I say in this video may sound cruel. I may not sound very positive in this video for some of you young DJs out there, but just know I'm not picking on you. I'm just being brutally honest with you, and I'm really letting you know how it is and what you're going to need to do before you go any further. The first thing I want to talk about is music. So many times I'll do videos and I'll have somebody look at a video and they'll hear a song and they'll ask me, hey, what is that song? So many times it's something that you should just know. As a mobile DJ, you've got to be a bit of a music expert. And if you don't know who Stevie Wonder is, you got to go back to basics, my friend. Forget about everything else. Forget about gear. Forget about going out there and making money doing parties. You need to learn your music. So this is what I suggest. Those of you who have no idea what to play at gigs for people over the age of 18. What you need to do is you need to either through the radio or on cable television or through the internet find an oldies station, 50s and 60s and 70s music. Listen to this station for a half an hour a day for a month. And then see if you got a handle on what Elvis Presley sounds like, and what Stevie Wonder sounds like, and what Aretha Franklin sounds like, and what the Beatles sound like. Now you may recognize some of those artists, but there are a lot of other artists out there that you may not know. And you need to know this stuff. This is very important if you're going to go out there and represent what I do and what a lot of us do as a profession. Don't go out there as an amateur having no idea what you're doing. Go out there, have a handle on what you're doing. Now after you're done listening to this for a month, switch to the disco station. Listen to that for a month, for a half an hour every day. And then switch to the classic country station and listen to that one for a while. And switch to the rock station, and switch to the 80s station, and the 90s station. And a lot of you might be saying, well, Brian, yeah, but I know hip-hop, and I want to be a hip-hop mobile DJ. Well, great, you know what? Everybody knows hip-hop. Everybody that's your age understands what's on the hip-hop charts right now. If they don't, they're probably into country, or rock and roll, or something else. But even those people probably have a pretty good handle of what's going on with hip-hop. So this does not make you special, and this does not make you an expert. This makes you mainstream like everybody else. You know kind of what's happening right now, just like everybody else kind of knows what's happening right now. You need to become an expert on music. So that's my first suggestion. Listen to the oldies, and the disco, and the rock, and everything else for extended periods of time. And it might take you a while. I'm still learning music, but you need to get the basics down, and a lot of you don't even have the basics down. You can also look at a website at Mobile Beat. It's a DJ magazine. Type in Mobile Beat 200 into Google, and you'll come up with a chart list, which are the hottest songs that a lot of mobile DJs are finding are working really well for them right now. Know that list, and make sure you have most of the songs on that list. You'll need them, because most of them are important songs. Now here's something I've always been into since I can remember. I always have loved chart books. It's a weird thing, but I love them. Music chart books. Let's say you're doing a party and they say, hey, you know what, we'd like to have some music from, I don't know, let's find a date here. Some music from the 60s. Well, here, let's pop up 1965, and it gives me charts from the UK and the US in this particular book. I don't know, here's October 1965. The #1 song was Yesterday by the Beatles in the US. That's important stuff to know. To know that Yesterday by the Beatles was a song from 1965, or at least know it was from the mid-60s. This wasn't early Beatles, this wasn't late Beatles. This was when Beatles was like in their prime and they were really hot. 1965. That's good stuff to know. Look through these charts and see if there are songs that you don't recognize. And if there are, maybe you need to find these songs and listen to them. They might be obscure, nobody ever wants to hear them, but you know what? You need to know anyway, because you need to be the expert on this stuff. Your audience, they are just the audience. They're there to be entertained by somebody who knows what they're doing. Well, you got to know how to work your gear, you got to know your music, you got to know what the music is, when to play it, how to play it, and why to play it. But you got to start by at least knowing your music.
can drive a car with your feet if you want to. That don't make it a good fucking idea.
I get a lot of people emailing me asking me if I think it's okay if they bring their consumer electronics piece on the road with them instead of a pro audio piece to do a mobile DJ gig. The answer is no. And these people who email me are typically young, they don't have a lot of money, so they're trying to figure out a way to do this really cheaply. Well, here's the thing, and this might sound cruel, but if you're young, you don't have a lot of money, forget it. You need some dough to do this. You need to get yourself some pro audio to go out there and represent us as mobile DJs. And this is why. Consumer electronics are built for the consumer, which is just pretty much anybody who needs a stereo or needs a television set or needs a DVD player. You go to Best Buy or Walmart and you buy this thing. You bring it home, you put it on the shelf, you hook it up, and you leave it alone. It has features on it that are good for people who are at home listening to their 6.1 surround sound stereo that are not features that you want or need as a mobile DJ. On the other hand, there are features on Pro Audio that you do need that the consumer piece does not have. Now, when it comes down to speakers, let me just do speakers real quick and then we'll go back to the 6.1 surround sound receiver. Home audio speakers, a lot of people want to use their consumer electronic home audio speakers at a mobile gig. They feel like, well, if I use them in multiples, they're going to sound good. Well, here's the thing. Home stereo speakers are built for the home, and they're typically built for a listening distance between, I think it's 6 and 12 feet. They sound best. They've been engineered to be that way. Where a PA speaker or a Pro Audio speaker is something that is best for broadcasting longer distances and filling rooms. That's the difference. And you know, most of the time the home audio speaker sounds better than the Pro Audio speaker, but it's just not designed to do what we want to do. Plus, it's not built to be bounced around from gig to gig to gig. And it's the same thing with that 6.1 surround sound stereo system you're thinking about using instead of a Pro Audio amp. It does not have the internals, soldering and everything else that a Pro Audio piece has. A Pro Audio piece is built to last, it's built to go on the road, it's built to get bounced around a little bit, and it's built to perform like a Pro Audio piece should for a professional sound person or musician or DJ. So let's look at a consumer piece of electronics. Let's look at a Pro Audio piece. Compare them. Here's a piece of consumer electronics for you. This is just an old CD player I had laying around. It's real lightweight, doesn't have a very durable casing. This thing would dent real easy. Can you hear stuff rattling around in there? It's not because it's broken, it's just because this CD player is not built to be rattled around like that. And it has features on it like shuffle. We don't use shuffle as DJs. It's not a feature we'd use. It doesn't have any way to secure this into a rack. It's nice for home, but it's crap for mobiles. Here's a piece of Pro Audio gear. We can't see inside of it, but if we could, we'd see that this thing's built a lot more sturdy than that Sony we were looking at. So it's built to go on the road. And it has features on it that are more practical for the mobile DJ, such as the pitch control right here, Q, and things like a jog wheel. Notice it also has little holes here. These holes are for racking this equipment into a Pro Audio rack or equipment rack. Now, an equipment rack is something that a lot of people take on the road, so hey, this thing is secure in its equipment rack. It is Pro Audio. It's not my favorite piece of Pro Audio, but it is indeed Pro Audio, and this is going to be more practical for you than that old CD player we looked at before. Before I close this video, I just want to point out that there are probably a couple things that are okay to bring with you on the road that are consumer electronics. The first thing would probably be an iPod. Now, yeah, it's a consumer piece of electronics, however, it's built to be portable and take a little bit of abuse. So that's probably okay to bring on the road with you. Same with a laptop. A laptop is built to be traveled with. I mean, you bring it on an airplane or wherever you got to go. So a laptop is probably cool to bring with you on a mobile DJ gig. Those are some of the few exceptions I can think of where Pro Audio is acceptable in what we do. So there you have it. Quick video. Take some of this information and think about it, you guys. Think really hard on it. And if you have any questions, let me know. Practice and enjoy.